Right, we'll start the show. We'll do that. Hey everybody, it's Jeffrey Powers, and this is another episode of Wearable Today, episode number 78. Server certificate could not be checked for revocation. Today we've got a great episode, and we're going to talk about wearables for the gym. You know, is your Apple Watch a good wearable for the gym? Is your Fitbit a good wearable for the gym? There's a lot of fitness trackers out there that do a lot more than what those two devices do. And we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about how Google Glass might be coming back in a way that really don't care about too much ago. A thing called Doppel, the HTC Grip and where that's going, and of course a whole bunch more. This is episode number 78 of Wearable Today. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine Thing Magazine. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No applause. Just throw money. I need it. You're throwing me off track, man. And I love it. I love it. No, geekazine.com, Think Magazine, put it in geek. And, of course, Jeff at wearabletoday.com. Jeff at wearabletoday.com. And, as always, the man with the sound effects right at his fingertips. I didn't even play the music, did I?
Nope, you didn't.
Mr. Luke Wallace, I'll play the music here.
So, hello everyone, I'm Luke Wallace. You can find me on Twitter at LukeLuca, down here at the bottom of the screen. Or you can email me for this show, Luke at Wearable Today. And as always, we've got Birdie here. I don't introduce Birdie enough. Birdie is a conure parrot that joins me for the show every week, mostly just crawling around. But, you know, she'll give her commentary, and you can tell when she gets excited about something. So, she's kind of excited right now. Yeah.
All right.
She doesn't talk, unfortunately, so you won't hear her say anything.
She chirps.
Oh, she does. When she does, it's quite loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right there. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into... Where are we? Let's get into the main section here. Let's get into big news, little alarms. And I'm going to start this really quick. Things happened this week. A lot of different things, and I wanted to talk about it really quick. If you are getting this video through iTunes, there is a possibility that we might not be going through iTunes anymore. If you're part of the video content creation area, you know that there's a video content creator called Blip TV. And I post all my videos through YouTube. I also post through Blip TV. Well, today, Blip came out with their email, and we kind of knew this was happening. Blip said on August 20th we're going to be shutting down the network. You get all your videos off of there, put them somewhere else, and then bye-bye. So long, so sad, too bad, bye-bye. And I always thought that Blip would then become Maker, which Maker bought them out, and Disney bought out Maker. So I figured I'd be a part of the Disney network, which would be fun because then I could be with Darth Vader going, Luke, I am your father. But apparently that's not the case. So,
Nope, you're not.
No, I'm not Luke's father. I'm not your father either, no, so we'll just leave it at that. So the bottom line is that I need to find a new home for our video hosting. Excuse me. I need to find a new home for our video hosting. If you listen to the audio version of Wearable Today, that's not going to change. That enclosure, that stays the same. I've already got the audio stuff already taken care of. It's not a problem. It's the video stuff. At about an hour show, we do about 500 megabyte files, so it's about 2 terabytes a month. I'm looking into all their alternatives, from Vimeo to CacheFly to a couple others for hosting, but it's got to be a pretty low-cost hosting. I'd love to do it on Libsyn, but to do 2 terabytes on Libsyn, that's pretty expensive. And then, of course, we're not even talking about the downloads and the transfer rate from there. So we'll see what happens. If you've got any ideas, please let me know. I've got 900 videos to pull off of Blip and put somewhere else. Most of them are going to be on archive.org because they have no playability value anymore. You know, but they're still important. I think that that they're important to have there. But if you know anything, let me know. Jeff at wearabletoday.com. If you don't know anything, let me know. If you want to know something but don't know something that you could know, let me know. So now let's get back into your regularly scheduled big news, little arms. And it's all over at wearabletoday.com. Start it out there, Luke, please.
Starting up, first off, we've got a news article from 9 to 5 Google. Sources close to Google are saying that the next version of Google Glass is already here.
What?
Yeah, it's in the form of beta hardware that will soon launch officially as Google Glass Enterprise Edition. 9 to 5 Google has a nice write-up on their website on the various bits and pieces that we've been seeing, and they say that it all fits together to be something that is only for business. Through the Glass for Work initiative that Google had, saw startups partnering with Google to use the device, Google Glass, in surprising ways, and it seems like the next version will be only for this Glass for Work group. No word yet on a consumer edition, even for the explorers who were told they would see the next version of Google Glass, quote, soon.
So we get no glass.
That's how it's looking.
No glass for us. We get no glass. No glass us. No. No glass. Well, that's kind of sad. All right, let's move on. That's kind of sad. Let's move on. All right, where am I? Oh, I'm right here. Okay, got to click on there. Click on there. There we go. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Doppel in our Fund Me segment. The Huffington Post has an interview with the creator for that technology, Fotini Markopoulou. It sounds like a concert event over a person's name, Markopoulou. Let's go to Markopoulou. I'm sorry, Fotini Markopoulou, where she discusses her ideas behind the wearables. She discusses how the device can help your sleep and how the research behind it makes it a different type of wearable for your sleep. You can read more. We got the link over at the Huffington Post if you want to do so.
And then maybe a little sad news about the HTC Grip, which we saw at Mobile World Congress. It's being delayed as HTC rethinks their wearable vision. HTC put out a statement saying that after extensive testing, they decided to align Grip with their portfolio for health and fitness coming later in the year. So it will be delayed until a later
date.
Yeah.
To later
Yeah,
later
later.
Gator with the Vader.
That's what a delay is. It means it's not now, later.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of like with the Google Glass. You have the Glass OS, and then you have Android Wear, and you have these two separate entities. You want to put them all together, and that's what HTC sounds like they're going to be doing.
Yeah, they realize it's probably bigger than the Grip on its own. They're like, ooh, we shouldn't do just that. We should do them all at once. So.
Exactly. So it's still coming out, and that's the important thing. So. All right, let's move on to our next segment of the show called Fund Me.
Fund?
And Fund Me. And that's where the cash register comes in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so check this out. Would you buy a wearable that helps you lose weight? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would. I think. I don't know. Thin Ice is a weight loss clothing line that uses the principle of cold environment to increase your metabolism. Now, if you've ever seen an episode of The Big Bang Theory, you know that when the group from The Big Bang Theory went up to the Antarctic, they had to basically eat their body weight to keep their body weight. So that's the principle right there. So Sheldon was giving him sticks of butter to eat, which would have been completely disgusting, but it is what it is. So their insoles and vests, we're talking about Thin Ice again. Their insoles and vests chill your body down to key points, and your metabolism increases to compensate and warm you up from the inside. They got 2 days left, and they're quite a bit away at their 50,000 goal. They're at $15,000 right now. Actually, they got about 55 hours left. So get on there, quick. And you want to check this out because this is somewhat of a solid idea. This is not new technology. This is not electroshocks to your system. This is about getting you to a point where you've got to warm yourself up, and every time you warm yourself up, you burn calories doing so. So. Pretty cool stuff. Have you ever done something like that, like thrown yourself into a freezer for 5 minutes before you went out running?
No, I have not, but that's an interesting idea. They said it won't make you, it won't give you the chills, it won't make you feel cold because your body will adjust to it pretty quickly. But I kind of think, it'd be kind of nice if it did, if it, made you feel a little bit cooler because it just puts those those cooling spots right on your key pressure points or the key areas of your foot and chest or whatever that need to feel cool. Like it'd be kind of nice for just the summer of like, ooh, I'm going to put this on and like it chills my feet, kind of like warm socks or something maybe in the winter. So it definitely seems like an interesting side effect of this whole thin ice concept, but kind of interesting. So I like they have a lot of different price points. That's another thing I like about it, is that you can choose, do you want the insole or the vest or both? And so you're not having to fund it, either $400 or $5. You have a few little price ranges. Or if you only think that the feet is what you want, you can just sign up for the feet. So I like that. I am afraid they're not going to hit their funding goal, but it may be something. Let's see. Sometimes at the top they say we're taking... Oh, it's flexible funding, so that means that they will receive the money even if it doesn't receive their goal. Yeah. So that probably means that those people that did sign up for it will get a lot quicker than everybody else. But
yeah, it might mean that they're just looking for extra funding to improve on the technology they already have. Maybe get a new distributor where they end up paying for getting 100,000 of the insoles as opposed to 50,000 of the insoles, or something like that. So they might already have that. Otherwise, and they might just look at it and go, oh, we didn't even hit half of our goal. So I think we're just going to reevaluate our crowdfund. And it's not a bad idea. I'd invest in this if I had the money right now, but I don't. I think it's just basically getting the word across, and I don't know, because I'm a big believer in this. I've done, my first tech job was testing EEG, EMG equipment, and they had this new little thing that tests for strokes with the heat. The little device would get really hot and then get really cold, and then measure where you what's the word? You basically flinched from there. And so I'm a big believer in this, in getting you going, especially when you're cold, because cold brings the blood flow going to all your muscles. So, like for instance, a lot of you don't know, but my back went out last week after a nice vacation, and so the best thing to do for when the back goes out is to put cold on there, not heat. Heat relaxes the muscles, yes, but cold brings the blood to the muscles so it can heal it a little bit better. So. I hope that they don't take this as a bad thing. It might have just been the fact that they didn't promote it properly. And I encourage everybody, all of our 5 listeners and viewers, to go over there. And if you've got $95, that's the insole right there. I don't know if it's 1 insole or 2. Hopefully it's 2.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if it's just 1.
Yeah, if your left foot as opposed to that would be kind of weird. So, but anyway. You can check that all out over at Indiegogo.com. Let's move on. Let's go over to On the Medical Front. We need some cheesy. Okay, that works. I was thinking of some cheesy. Okay, I was thinking of some cheesy music like a 70s soap opera or something like that. Oh. And now On the Medical Front. Anyway. Let's move on here. Wait a minute, don't you mean?
No, that's different. That's like the sad sound. You don't want the sad. You just want like the dramatic sound.
Oh, like this one?
That's too dramatic, too celebratory.
How about this one?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, let's get into here. Should the FDA be regulating wearable devices? Now, this is a question of politics versus ethics, basically. On one hand, you want wearables that do everything that it claims, but we've already seen questionable wearables with heightened claims in the market. Some talking about how they send pulses back and forth throughout the body, like those exercise belts that we saw back in the late 90s, the ones you put around, and they like shocked your belts so your abs would get stronger or something like that. Even those low-risk wearables like Fitbit, we've already seen medical issues come from it. And last year, when people developed different skin irritations from the Fitbit, but the FDA says we're not going to do anything with wearables. The wearable market definitely doesn't want the FDA involved, because then that means 6 months to 2 years to 5 years of regulations before you get approved with a wearable. And in the meantime, you could run dry on your money, and that wearable never comes to market. So there's a lot of good and a lot of bad. The biggest thing is the protection, your protection. So if something like a skin irritation happens, then the FDA can step in on your behalf and say, hey, get it fixed. So there's, and then you got the question of what is considered a wearable that's really needs to be checked out by the FDA, as opposed to like this the Misfit Flash or the Fitbit or the Apple Watch for that matter. So lots of different back and forth questions. Luke, what are your thoughts on? Do you think that the FDA should be part of this whole thing?
I would say in general, no. I think it is good to have a few, safety precautions in there. It is nice for things that are actually going inside your body. The article talks about how the FDA wants to, or like is involved in anything as it's a medical device, and so anything that is used to diagnose or treat a problem. But I feel like that you're talking about some of these weight loss trackers or fitness trackers. Like in a sense, they can help diagnose a problem. Like the problem is you don't move enough. Like you don't have enough activity. So it's like but people don't really consider that like a medical problem. Like let's say diabetes or something like that, so they're like, well, it's not that kind of medical problem. It's just you're doing something that's not great, not so much that you're doing you don't actually have a disease. However, not having an active lifestyle can lead to things like heart disease. So you're like, well, it's kind of diagnosing something. So like in general, I would say I'm fine with the FDA staying out of it because these things are, all external. Once things start going internal, you do really want some sort of test to make sure that the devices are going to be safe, just so that, there's a little bit of a checkbox there. But you wonder, will that cause problems with getting devices approved as quickly? Because, Apple won't be able to come out with an ingestible whatever, the apple that you eat, and now you've got this thing inside you.
That grows an apple tree?
Yeah, a little apple seed. They'll call it the apple seed.
The apple seed.
And then you ingest it, and it kind of tracks you. Well, all of a sudden now the FDA is involved, and it takes 5 years, 10 years for that thing to be approved, and it's a huge mess. And we're already seeing some problems with that. So I'm fine if the FDA wants to stay out of it for now, because that just means that we'll see a lot more innovation while they're staying out of it. Once they get involved, everything slows way down. So
yeah. Well, one thing that we want to mention here is if you do get a more experimental wearable that does a little bit more than just tracks your health and has a couple diodes on the bottom, be very aware of what you're putting onto your body. Like for instance, if they give you something with copper connections that touch onto your skin, at the end of the day, you're going to see two little green dots on your skin because there's oxidation that happens there. If you start to develop a rash when you're wearing one of these devices, take it off. Go see your doctor and make sure that's the case. Of course, we don't want to get what's the word where somebody goes to the doctor too much. Narcoleptic? No. Anyway, we don't want to get too conspiracy theory on you on this, but we also don't want to have Martin Short or Dennis Quaid inside of our bodies when we take a little pill. If you haven't seen Inner Space, you got to watch that movie, because that's like a wearable technology movie, because they swallowed him. They swallowed Dennis Quaid. He went in the body and back. Anyway, so any closing thoughts on that, Bertie?
Yeah, Bertie, what do you think? Bertie is all. She just wants to be left alone so she can fly free. So yeah, she's all for the FDA staying out of this for now. Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, let's move on. Of course, do you have the sound effect queued up?
Yeah, I think so.
It's time for the Apple Watch Watch.
See what we did there?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Good job. All right. Apple Watch sales are estimated to be lower than expected. In fact, after the initial rush, the sales dropped 90%. And perhaps in response to Apple planning their new launch with more colors of their newest device. This new one will come in, predicted in yellow and rose gold, along with their new iMacs and iPad mini later this year. And of course, the iPhone 6 Super S34, otherwise known as the 11th, is it the 11th generation iPhone? I used to have that number in my head. It's like iPhone Edge, and then iPhone 3, and then iPhone 3 GS, and then 4, and then 4S, and then 5, and then 5S, and then 6. So this will be the 9th generation iPhone, otherwise known as the iPhone 6S.
I thought they already had. I thought the 6 Plus. That's what it is. It's not 6S.
Well, yeah, you had the 5C and the 5S, and then you had the 6 and the 6 Plus. So, it's still a ninth generation.
6S and 6S Plus. It seems like they're just. It's just weird now.
Yeah.
6S Plus.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, next week next week, I think in 11 days, we're going to get Windows 10. Because there's no Windows 9. You want to know why there's no Windows 9?
No. Well, I do want to know why, but I don't know.
Because Windows 7, 8, 9.
I see.
At least no sad music on that. So
yeah.
Anyway. But thank you. I'm going to be here all week. Not. So the whole thing is, we kind of expect. You had the energy, this Apple Watch, the build up. They waited a whole 8-9 months before. After the announcement to finally come out with the Apple Watch, and then a month later, Tim Cook goes, "Yeah, we're going to probably have another Apple Watch coming out very soon." And you're going, "What?" So, yeah, no wonder the sales have dropped down 90%. Nobody wants to buy a watch when they know in a couple months the new version's coming out. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
But you got the fanboys that are out there. I don't know. I know you bought 3 Apple Watches.
No, I did not buy 3 Apple Watches, but there are several people that I work with that have Apple Watches, several of the iOS developers, and they seem to like them. They use them a lot. So
yeah, as Eric Forty says on the Q&A, he's not using the Q&A as Q&A. He's just using his comments, but that's okay. So he goes, typical Apple launch, a product then updates it to 6 months later. It's not even 6 months. We're talking like 1 to 2 months since its release, and a new watch is going to be expected in the next 3 months. So, and it's going to have a camera on that one, possibly, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. So, who knows?
Possible.
That'd be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
So that you can see up everyone's nose while you're doing a video chat, because it's going to be down there, looking right up your nose. So
should I get the domain what'sinmynose.com?
Yeah. Nose time.
Nose time.
I think nose time. Instead of FaceTime, because you won't see the face as much as the nose. People have to hold their watch up like this in front of them while they're doing their video
Let's
chat.
see if I can do this. Like that?
Yeah.
Kind of. My neck doesn't go that way. My back's hurting like heck, so I'm not going to do that anymore. All right. And that does it for our big news. Little arms. All right. Well, as you probably know, my back went out last week. I went on vacation. We did a 24-hour vacation, and we had 2 vehicles go dead on us, and then we went on vacation, and then my back went out on me. So it was a fun week, and I spent a lot of money on a new catalytic converter. We were driving up, and Jennifer had a blowout, and so we had to spend money for towing, and then get a new set of tires for the car before we could make it to our destination. So we both together spent about like $1,200 on everything, and I was just like, oh, don't have that money just to waste right now. So I'm going to be doing a life of ramen for the next week, maybe some tea leaves or something like that, just to survive, and it'll be fun. But the big thing is with this back, it's a pain in the back, my back. So, but anyway, Luke, what's your been no. When we last left you, what were you doing? What are you up to now?
So, just kind of cruising along through the summer, making plans, vacation plans for the fall and such. But am working on a new wearable. This is I started earlier last year, but it was getting time to start on a Halloween costume. So I started on that this past weekend. Got a few pieces. I'm not completely settled on an idea yet, so I'm really just experimenting with a couple of things right now, trying out some painting techniques. This one involves a little bit more plastic and paint work than I'm used to doing. So we're going to try some stuff out, maybe get a few new tools for doing some of the work.
Are you going to be Chewbacca? Because you're growing your hair out.
So I thought about it. I thought I can just grow my hair out, and then you don't have to get a costume at all. Turns out my face doesn't grow hair very much, especially in this forehead area. I don't shave this area hardly at all, and yet I'm not getting any hair there. So I'm not exactly. I don't think that's going to work without some effort. So I've got some ideas.
Hair extensions work really well. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna think about that. So so working on some stuff like that as we get closer. If things start working out, I may have to show off some wearable technology. There would actually potentially be some technology inside this in this costume involved with some lights and some wires and some different tech. So cool. It'll be interesting to see kind of where it goes.
All right, we'll leave it at that and go from there. So thanks for updating us on that. So. All right, well, you might see this down here, right here. Wearablettoday.com/deals. Yes, we need you to help us pay for where our video hosting is going, help pay for my truck, and so we can keep the lights on, basically. So wearablettoday.com/deals. I got some great deals on wearable technology, everything from Samsung watches to Moto 360s I've seen in there. Nothing Apple Watch, unfortunately. But, give it a couple months and you might see some stuff in there on that. But some other great wearable devices that do some great jobs out there. And check it all out. Or go over to wearabletoday.com/deals. That's wearabletoday.com/deals. It's a non-sponsor link. It's just an affiliate link. So check it out at wearabletoday.com/deals. All right. And of course, if you go over to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/thisweekinglass. I can't change it. They won't let me change it. Of course, this was this week in Google Glass at one time, but now it's This Week in Glass. And as you see on the right side there, it says support this channel. It's that blue button right there that says S for support. And when you give $5-10, that helps us keep the lights on, keeps the show going. We appreciate it very, 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 very much. So thank you very much for hitting that blue button and going from there. And, of course, you can always come to the live show every single Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and get into the chat room like Eric 40 does. And gives us a 40. Wait a minute. A couple 40s? Something like that. Anyway, so.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Do you drink 40s?
No.
Okay. Neither do I. So give me some rum and I'm happy. Give me a daiquiri. I think it's National Rum Day or something like that.
Is it?
But
is it?
It
was ice cream day yesterday, I think.
Yeah, ice cream day was yesterday, and I thought it was it was strawberry daiquiri day yesterday, I think, too. So that was
interesting.
Got to keep up on this stuff. So anyway,
these are the important national holidays you got to remember.
Yeah, these are the wearable tech things you got to remember.
Yeah, it's all wearable tech all the time.
All the time. All right, well, let's get into our main subject here. And we'll try and keep the time low for you guys so we can save on our bandwidth, however that works. So anyway, we're going over, friends over at Wearable.com, Wearable.com. They have, I was almost going to do the wrong thing here. They have this nice little picture, and there's a woman holding on some weights, probably do some crunches or something like that. they came up with the best gym trackers and wearables that you can get. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, I just got myself an Apple Watch. I got my Fitbit device. That'll be perfect for the gym, right? Not necessarily. And a lot of these trackers, they track your steps, they track your heart rate, which you do in the gym, of course. But there's a lot of other types of things that happen to your body that they want to track a little bit better. And of course, Apple Watch will eventually get there, but it's not to where some of these wearables are. Now, last year when I was at South by Southwest, this was one of the wearables that I actually got to do an interview with, and I saw this. It's called the Atlas. It wasn't out just yet. Has a very interesting design to it, but this is a totally waterproof watch, and well, not totally waterproof. It's waterproof watch up to like 30 meters or something like that. 30 minutes and 9 meters, whatever the standard is. But basically what this does is this device doesn't work on steps, it works on reps. So if you're doing curls, it's noting that you're doing a curl, and that's noting it that down. If you're doing a tricep pull as opposed to a bicep pull or curl or something like that, it will know that. If you're swimming, it will know the laps that you're doing rather than steps. If you're doing any work with your quads, with your other leg muscles, it will know that. And if you're doing sit-ups, it will know that. So this is a more specific type of tracking device. And they raised about $629,000 on Indiegogo last year for this wearable. I should check with them and see where they are. I do have a video up on geekazine.com for Atlas. You can check that out over there. But these are the types of wearables that go in a little bit deeper, and so they can give you a more accurate burn of what you're doing, as opposed to how many steps you've taken, how much sleep you possibly got, and how your heart was going and stuff like that. So any wearables that out of this list that jumped out at you, Luke?
Oh yeah, there were a couple. Just in general, how like you said, they track not just like steps, but reps, and then it looks like that the heart rate monitoring in a lot of these wearables is much better than the things you see in Apple Watch or Android Wear typically. Like those are like they're not really like I've had mediocre luck at best with mine. And the Apple Watch seems to kind of be all over the place, not quite as accurate. And so I think that a lot of these they do much better heart rate tracking. And I'm no gym expert. That's probably obvious. I'm not exactly an expert in those kinds of things, but I have read some things about how your heart rate being in kind of certain ranges is very critical. Like you have to keep your heart rate at a whatever, like there's the fat burning range, and then there's like the whatever aerobic range or strength building range or something. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, so don't quote me on this, but I do know that can be a big deal for people, is keeping your heart rate to a certain level. And so if you have a tracker that's only like halfway accurate, or it takes 30 seconds and you have to hold still while you're doing it, well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I do like that a lot of these are trying to be much more accurate with it. One that I thought was really interesting on there was the Jabra Sport Pulse, which is headphones, and then it says they have a heart tracker in the earbud, so it actually tracks it through your inner ear. Is what this article says. We
talked a couple weeks ago. We talked about a crowdfund for something similar to that, didn't we?
I think so. For like a ear monitor or something. And so I think that kind of thing, like that really stands out to me, that something that is multi-purpose, for one, where it's headphones, which is something that a lot of people want to have while you're working out, and it has a much more accurate heart tracker in it. And then they even talk about how it has some calibration modes, which I think is just super critical, because like you can't imagine that a wearable like the Apple Watch can be finely tuned for every person perfectly. It must have to do some calibration. And so it'd be great if you can actually walk through there and like say, yes, I am going to find my resting heart rate. It's like please sit for 5 minutes, in front of the TV, or just sit quietly, in the dark or whatever, and then now take your heart rate so we can get a very, very accurate resting heart rate. Like that kind of thing to me, it just tells me that they are very serious about this being a real fitness wearable, not just, oh cool, it tells my heart rate, what, that's fun, like they really want this to be useful. So I'm just impressed how seriously that they're taking it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Here's another one that I'm pretty impressed with. It's called Athos. I think it's Athos or Athos or whatever. It's not as much of a, well, it's not. We've been talking about a lot of watches, but excuse me. In this case, it's more of a biosignal monitoring sensor in garments and Bluetooth enabled. So when I do this pose right here, I can get more information about what's happening inside my body, so I can do it a little bit better. And if you're looking at the price here, $199, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
For something that you basically an outfit you wear when you're doing your workout to figure things out and figure if you're doing it right and go from there. Another one that I saw in this list was called Radiate Thermal Vision, and it kind of reminds me of those T-shirts. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, I remember.
You had they came out with the cups that could change color when it got cold and warm, and then they had T-shirts that did that for a while. This is the same process here. A company called Radiate Thermal Vision has clothing that will show you where your hot spots are, and what's working out. Because if you're doing curls and you look at your right bicep and it's not even touching past this green color, then you're either doing something wrong or there's a problem that you need to get figured out. So, a shirt like this, it's only $49.99. It's actually very simple technology when it comes to wearable technology, because there's no real wearable technology in it besides the fact that the shirt changes color upon sweat or heat or something like that. And they use it in NASA technology during their first thermochromatic athletic shirt. So you can I don't know what to say from there. So
yeah, no,
I'll
very cool. yeah, no, I thought that was cool too. But lots of really interesting things. It makes you say, yeah, the Apple Watch or Android Wear is like it's okay for basic stuff, but it's not really for serious athletes. Like that they may get some sort of spokesman to or spokeswoman to say, oh yeah, I love the Apple Watch or I love whatever because it helps me track my steps when I go on my marathon training runs or something. And you just have to realize, that's a paid spokesman thing. Like that is not probably what a serious athlete would want to use to track their steps. They can, but that's probably not what the most important thing is. They're going to want to make sure they have a very accurate heart rate monitor that can track their heart rate the entire time that they're out running, so they can be, they can tell if something's going wrong or make sure that they're keeping their heart rate up or down or whatever it is they need to do. And so it's like, they're the ones that come on the basic stuff are nice, and what's nice is a lot of these are cheaper than the Apple Watch or a lot of the Android Wear watches. Like you said, $200 for a full body suit, like that's pretty good. Like that's also the Apple Watch. Also, would you want to wear your Apple Watch at the gym? It's a fashion statement at best, but it's not. It's kind of like if you go to the gym, you don't wear your watch. In the days that I wore watches, I left my watch in the car or at home on the dresser because I would get in my gym clothes, not my good clothes. And then I'd so the watch didn't count in that. So would you wear a Rolex into the gym? No. So you probably wouldn't wear your Apple. And then now I'm comparing Apple Watch to Rolex. Not really, but you get the idea here. Yeah. Eric asks the question: how long would these shirt devices hold up washing machines, let alone sweat? So I'm guessing the amount of washes in
these shirts. We don't know. We don't know that answer. You can check with the companies to
the
find
one
that
with
out.
the
So.
sensors and stuff in it that you were talking about, that full body suit, that probably is a pretty good question of like, can you put that in a washing machine? Maybe you have to hand wash it or something.
No, those will probably. It's like the sleep headphones that I have from the acoustic sheet. I can wash the headband. I got to take the speakers out first.
I see.
Before that happens. So these sensors are probably Velcroed in certain places or something like that. And so you take all the sensors out and then you throw the clothing in the washing machine. It washes and then put it out. No, I'm not 100%. You might have to bang it against a rock by the river. I don't know. It's possible, but I'm guessing that you could probably take the sensors. One more I'm going to show you on this list, and then you can check out the rest over at wearable.com. That's Wareable. That's the English version, I guess, of wearable technology. They're over in London, so they're about waking up right about now, I think. But anyway, this is called Sculpt Aim, and this is one of those questionable technologies because it does send pulses through your muscles. And what they're saying, it's kind of like some sort of pinging system to, it says for gym nuts who love to hit the weights, placed in the muscles after a workout to detect body fat and muscle quantity. As current flows, depending on the muscle's fitness, the app is able to determine the quality of 24 different muscle groups. So I don't know. From what it looks like there's no sensors. Like, it kind of sounds like you put a sensor right here, and then you do the initial test, and then as it warms up, it's going to tell you more. But it also sounded like there was a little watch that sends a pulse to that muscle and back, like a pinging system. So I'm not 100% on that, but this is also targeting on different muscle groups as opposed to an overall heart rate, overall blood pressure type thing.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool. But
it is?
Yeah, it's one of those, like you said, like it'd be good to see some reviews of these, see some, kind of official, like some people who've actually tried it out and can give you a real review, not just a summary of the features.
Yeah. And like I said, if you want to check out the full list, it's over at Wearable.com and Wearable.com. And
we'll have a link in the show notes over
of course,
wearabletoday.com. So that is actually the right URL if you want to see all the links we've been talking about today.
That is true. That's so true. Did I say that was true? That's true. So, all right. Well, we've knocked 15 minutes off the show. Good job, Luke. It's all you.
High five.
Where'd your video go? Oh, there you are. Your video was gone for a second. Oh.
Five.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Tell people where they can find you, Luke.
So you can find me over at Twitter, Luke Luca, LukeEluca. You can email me for the show, luke@wearabletoday.com. Yeah, if you've got ideas or maybe you want to guess what my Halloween costume is that I'm at least experimenting with, not committing to the full costume yet, tweet me or email me, or you can find me on Google+. You can maybe see some pictures there, get some ideas over at google.com/plus, Luke Wallace.
All right. And you can find me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. That's my little corner of the world. You can also Twitter me at geekazine@gmail.com, or jeff@wearabletoday.com. We've got a lot of great, cool stuff coming up in the upcoming weeks, and can't talk about too much just yet, but they're still in a hiatus. But a couple great trips coming up, and so we're going to be talking to some big names about wearables, and then a big event starting next year, too, that I can't talk about just yet, but just wait a week or two. Next week, Marco is going to be on the show. It's tentative right now, but he will be on the show talking about an article he wrote on wearabletoday.com about the connected home and how wearable technology can really interact with the wearable, with the connected home, and go from there. So that'll be next week, and of course we'll have all the news and highlights and much, much more over on wearabletoday.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Once again, if you have any ideas for our video, where we're going to move the videos to, please let me know at jeff@wearabletoday.com, and we'll go from there. And of course, feel free to donate money over at youtube.com/thisweekinglass on that little YouTube blue button over there. Thanks a lot for watching. We will see you next week on another episode of Wearable Today. Until then, it's not stopping.